All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for joining. It's a little after 10:30 today, so I'll get started with our webinar. Again, I just want to do a quick introduction. My name is Tim Jefferies. I'm a sales and channel manager here at Foxit Software. You probably know us and know the product that we're going to be talking about, PDF Compressor, from your experience with working with CVISION technologies. I've worked with CVISION for about 6 years prior to being acquired by Foxit Software in 2017. I have a lot of experience with PDF Compressor and the CVISION versions of that software, and I'm very excited to be walking you guys through just our latest version, the latest and greatest of PDF Compressor version 8.0. So today's webinar, I'm really going to get into a high-level overview of version 8.0. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the new features that are found in the software for our users. I'll go into a live demonstration of the software. I'm going to talk a little bit about how our users of CVision's previous versions, 6.5 and 6.6, can automatically import some of their settings into 8.0, so they don't have to kind of redo everything as they move towards this upgrade. I'm also going to highlight just our resource hub. It's a nice feature that we have on our website. It kind of really just details a lot of the things that we're talking about today. Gives you some materials that will help you out with your upgrade to version 8.0. And then I also just want to talk a little bit about any questions that are brought up as we go throughout the webinar at the end of the day, and just some thoughts on future webinars. I'd like to get everyone's feedback on what they would like us to focus on as we go through 2019 and beyond, and what you'd like to see us kind of talk about in future webinars that we're working on. So before we get started with this, I just thought I'd take a minute just to kind of introduce Foxit Software. As I had mentioned, we were acquired by Foxit back in 2017, and I didn't really know too much about Foxit actually prior to the acquisition. I don't know that a lot of our old CVision customers know a lot about Foxit either. So I thought I'd take a minute just to kind of introduce Foxit and take any questions. Also, any questions that you guys do have, please just jot them down in the question section for the webinar, and I will definitely address them as we get towards the end of the webinar today. So just a little bit about Foxit. We are the #2 PDF solutions provider in the world. We're an innovative company, smart, experienced, dedicated leadership, and really a large team of committed engineers. And really, perhaps most important overall, is our large customer base. We have over 475 million users of our software worldwide. And it's really a huge number and significant because it enables real rapid adoption of any new technology that we introduce. Our software is also at the heart of a lot of big platforms that folks have used, and they don't really realize that they're using Foxit solutions. So, again, if you ask a general person, hey, have you ever heard of Foxit software? A lot of times they'll say no, but if you ask that same person, have you used Chrome, Gmail, or the Amazon Kindle? A lot of people are going to respond yes. And anyone that's used those products has used Foxit software. Billions of people are benefiting from Foxit's innovations really every single day. It's worth highlighting also that for these 4 big platforms here, Adobe fought tooth and nail with us for this business, and each time we triumphed. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there for everyone, just as a quick introduction to Foxit. Again, for today's agenda, we're really going to be focusing in on PDF Compressor 8.0. I'm going to give a high-level overview. We'll talk about some of the new features. I'll get into a live demonstration of the software. I'll focus again on our resource hub. And then I'd like to just circle back on just some thoughts for future webinars, and I'll take some questions at that point as well. All right, so PDF Compressor 8.0. So what is it, right? So it's the best of 2 solutions. So as I mentioned, CVision was acquired by Foxit back in August of 2017. Foxit had also acquired a company called Loratech a few years prior to that. And Foxit's PDF Compressor was based on the Loratech technology. And when Foxit acquired CVision, we, for a short period of time there, had 2 PDF compressors out there. So what 8.0 embodies is really the merge of those 2 solutions into a single best-in-breed solution for PDF Compressor. We're very excited about it. It really helps to put efficiency, automation, and ease of use at the forefront with a new interface, a lot more job management options, and some new ways to run the software without direct user supervision. I'll go into this as we get into the demonstration, but it is a really cool way of using the software. The features are really designed to maximize the user's ability to quickly, easily, and reliably convert high volumes of scanned image documents and electronic documents to PDF and to PDFA. Okay? So some of the new features that I'm going to focus in on today for our CVISION users is the Born Digital processing option. So we did not have in version 6.5 and 6.6 the ability to convert email, Microsoft Office files, HTML files into PDF. Okay? We now have that ability, and I'm going to show you how we can do that during the demonstration today. And it's a great feature, right, for anyone that has electronically born documents that need to be converted to PDF as part of a general conversion initiative. We can now help with that. We also have comprehensive PDFA conversion support for document archiving. So in previous versions of the software, we had PDF A1A and A1B support, but we did not have the A2s and A3s available. At this point, we have all versions of PDFA fully supported. Okay. We also now have the ability to auto-tag documents. Right? So this is really great for anyone that's trying to create accessible PDF documents. Even unstructured scanned PDFs, we can help to auto-tag that document and really get the read order down for document accessibility. We also have very efficient text layer processing for electronic documents. This is a very nice feature. So basically, if you do have an electronically generated document, or PDF specifically, or a hybrid PDF that has some image-based sections as well as text-based sections, we can basically skip over all of that text. So we wouldn't have to re-image and re-OCR documents. So basically, this allows for quicker processing time and will also help to just ensure accuracy rather than having to re-image a document and re-OCR it. Anything that's already in there, we're going to leave it be. Our OCR is definitely improved, and our MRC compression is improved, and you'll be able to see that with some of the documents that I'm running through today during the demonstration. Performance is definitely improved, and it's based on some of the Foxit core technology. And again, our job-focused interface really is designed for more efficient workflow prioritization and job management. All right, so at this point, I'm just going to switch over real quick to our demonstration. I'll show everyone just what the user interface of the software looks like and take any questions that you might have. Okay, so this is the user interface of the software. All right, when you first open up the software, you'll be prompted to go through a quick setup wizard. Right? This is very similar to version 6.6. Okay? Basically, it's designed to just sort of ask some pretty simple questions about the documents that you're going to process. So, do you want to process a single file or from a directory? You can select to combine all the pages into a single PDF document here. You select what input file formats you have, right? Some image-based documents, or Office documents, email messages, PDFs, right? And then from there, we would select our outputs. If we want to include text recognition, and then just some general compression settings. I'm not going to go through processing a job or creating one with the wizard here, but I just wanted to show that it is still available for anyone that would like to set up some simple jobs leveraging the wizard. Right. Now, another thing that we have available here is the ability to just sort of import some of your settings into 8.0. Okay. So you can do that here by just selecting File and then Import CVISION settings. So anyone that is using 6.5 or 6.6 and is upgrading to 8.0 and they don't want to kind of change their settings over completely and have to manually select that, you have a number of different watch folders or different input paths for the software. Basically, I would recommend using this. You can import your settings here. It will walk you through what you want to specifically import. Right. So I'm going to check off on my PDF Compressor, save settings and watch folders. Right. For batch imports, we can just select whether it's file or directory. Okay. You can select the default settings, right? So if you want us to create PDF A2U, which is a general recommendation for archiving, we can do that. Or we can go with the standard PDF 1.7, which is being generated in PDF Compressor today. Right. And then from here, we would import the settings. Okay. So it's a pretty simple job. You just hit start here, and then from there, all the settings that you have would be imported. Right. Now again, in PDF Compressor 8.0, a lot of the settings are tied to either really a job. Okay, so in version 6.6, you have the option of either selecting to process a batch job or a watch folder job. Right here, you start with a job, and then basically you will determine what that job is going to be, whether it's a batch or a watch folder or a hot folder. Okay, so I've already set one up, but if you need to add a new job, you can just right-click here and add a new job, and take it from there. But for this one, I'm just going to double click on this job here, and then we can start to select the properties of this specific job. Okay. Now these properties, you'll notice, are pretty similar in the way that we've designed this pop-up to how the user interface of 6.6 looks and feels. So we can just kind of walk through our input settings, output, pre-processing settings, and all the settings that we have over here on the left to create our job and determine exactly what we want the software to do with our documents. Okay. So I'm starting off with a directory. This just resides on my desktop. Okay. It's a single folder. I have a number of different files in there. Okay. If this was a root folder and I needed to include subfolders, I would check off on this box here. But since it's just a single folder and not a deep directory, I'll just leave that as is. I'm going to process this as a batch. Okay, so I'm not going to set this up as a watch folder. But if I wanted to set it up as a watch folder, I would check off on this box here and set to check every X number of seconds for the actual for the processing. Okay, again, I'm going to process this as a batch, so I'm not going to set up the watch folder. But if you were setting up the watch folder, that's what you would want to do. For input file formats, I've selected just some pretty common ones that we see: TIFFs, JPEGs, bitmaps, PNMs, as well as image-based PDFs. Okay, and then also on the Born Digital side, I've selected to process Word documents, Excel documents, and email messages. Now, there's other file types that we can process, including HTML files, PowerPoints, Open Office documents. There's quite a few, but I've just selected the ones that I'm going to be processing. Okay. Here we have the ability to determine how we're going to process our PDF input files. I like to select to automatically determine if we're going to rasterize a PDF or not. This is a nice feature. It's a little bit different than what we have in 6.6. 6.6 really kind of forces a user to determine if they're going to rasterize a file or if they're not going to rasterize the file. Here we're going to let the software basically determine what's the best processing methodology for that specific PDF. So it's a nice feature to kind of further help automate the processing and take the thought process really out of how you set up your jobs. Okay. We do have some other advanced input options that we can select here, right, specifically for our PDF inputs. If they have passwords, if you change permissions, Office inputs, how you want these Office documents to be processed, you can select all of that stuff right here as well. Right. Next, we're going to hop over just to our outputs. Okay, so I've selected for the demonstration today to place the outputs in a new directory, okay, rather than next to the input file. All right, so it's just going to go into a separate folder. We do offer the ability to overwrite existing files or write out to an FTP server if you need to. Again, just for the demo, keeping it simple, I'm just going to be working right off of my desktop today. The output format that I've selected is PDF 1.7, but as I mentioned earlier, we do have a wide variety of PDFA outputs that we now support, and these are all available to anyone that upgrades to 8.0. We do offer splitting here, similar to PDF Compressor 6.6, where you can kind of just output the files into chunks of 10 pages, 5 pages, whatever you might need, and you can handle that here. We now also offer the ability to rename files, right? So typically, previously with 6.6, the file names would always remain consistent with the input file name. By default, that's going to continue. but if you do need to rename the files, you can do that here. We also here kind of focus in on just some different conversion options for email and for PDF. So any sort of email attachments, you can determine how you want to handle that. If you want to process them by default, we'll append the attachments as PDF pages to the email. You can ignore them, whatever you might need to do. But again, it's a nice feature to really kind of tie down specifically what you need to happen with your emails if you are archiving them to PDF. Okay. All right, so now image pre-processing. Again, this is very similar to 6.6. We can break down how we want to process images based on the characteristics of that image. So for black and white images, we can determine if we're going to smooth them or not. Color and grayscale images, we can determine if there's going to reduce the color or not, convert it to grayscale, binarize with dithering or thresholding. Also smooth out some jagged edges. We have the ability to invert color. This is commonly used for old microfiche conversions, and sometimes in the medical space for x-rays. It really is designed to kind of flip black to white, white to black. We also can do some cropping here as well. Okay. OCR, already checked off to apply OCR to our documents. We have a couple of different OCR analysis modes. I would recommend balanced. It really is quite accurate OCR and processes pretty quickly as well. And it's really the best combination of speed and accuracy. The only time that I would recommend testing out most accurate is if you're dealing with the image that's, let's say, been faxed a couple times and scanned in at a low DPI. You might want to try that out. Color on color text, you might want to try out. Multi-directional text, again, you might want to try out most accurate. But the biggest trade-off is going to be processing speed, right? With balanced, if we're talking about a good quality image, you're probably looking at maybe 1 to 3 seconds per page per core of the machine that the software is installed on. With most accurate, you're probably looking at, could be as high as 9 to 12 seconds per page per core. So it will definitely affect that processing speed, but if you're dealing with a, for lack of a better term, a pretty beat up image, I would recommend it. We have over also 120 different languages that we can process. Okay. For today, I've only selected to process English, but all of these are included in the baseline installation of PDF Compressor 8.0. There's no additional cost for any of the languages. Finally, before we move off of the OCR tab here, we can also still generate a lot of additional output formats for use in different workflows. So if you need to generate a text file with that OCR data or Excel document, Word document, we can help you do that here. And then on the advanced OCR options, we have the ability to detect pictures, tables, use automatic column page layout detection. We can do some zonal OCR if you need to only focus in on a specific zone of a document rather than the entire document. And we can also figure out how you want to handle any errors here as well. Okay. Now, barcodes. So this is a nice new feature for some of our customers that are using 6.6. We give users the ability to detect barcodes. You can add specific barcode profiles and have those barcodes kind of be something to action for the documents. So if you wanted to split documents up based on a barcode using that as a splitter, we can help you with that. You can select auto detect, which really works quite well. But if you'd like to select specifically the type of barcode that we want to detect, you can do that here as well. Okay. All right, compression. We have a number of different profiles. So this is a nice feature. So if we're talking about just general images, general documents, I recommend going with MRC standard. We've done a lot of testing with that. And also the quality here of about 6 is really quite good. If you want to increase the quality of the image, you can scale it up this way. If you want to decrease it and hope to increase compression, you can go down this way. But again, with the testing that we've done, we found that 6 is really the nicest blend of compression and maintenance of image fidelity. Okay. So I'm going to for today's demonstration, really just use the default filters that we have here. If you want to kind of take this up a notch and really kind of get into some of the advanced settings, you can do that here, and we can certainly help you go through this. And our support team is here to help out as well with any specific adjustments that you need. Okay. For data embedding, you can embed now just OCR results as well as different options for bookmark embedding and metadata embedding. Also, there's some specific rules for embedding into a PDFA output format that can be followed right here. Headers and footers can be added as well as watermarks here. Any options that you'd like to include here can be added. The position that you want to have on there. If it's a header, footer, date stamping is included, and you can enable all of that through these settings. Watermarks can also be added here. You just select the file, how you'd like that added, what the transparency is, and you can apply it to your documents. Okay. Post-processing. So we do have the ability to kind of action the documents after they've been processed. So if you need to rename your input files after processing, we can help you do that here, and we give you just a kind of a tutorial on different things that we can provide to assist in that renaming effort. For the purpose of the demo, for the post-processing, I'm going to keep my input files. And if you're trialing PDF Compressor 8, I would definitely recommend to keep those input files. But in a production environment, I would recommend either deleting them as you currently are or moving them into a different location. Okay. And on failure, if there are any failures, you can select what you need to do with that specific file. Typically, I would recommend to move them into a separate location so that you can figure out what happened, work with our team to help support you in identifying that issue and being able to process those files. And then finally, on the general side, we do now have the concept of job priorities, right? So this is a nice feature. Previously, there was really no prioritization that you can put onto your jobs. Now we do have the ability to do that. You can also schedule your jobs here and determine, if there is going to be a timeout period that you'd like to select as well. And then you can also just look for any sort of advanced jobs options and processing things right here as well. Okay. All right. So before I just kick off processing some documents, I'll just kind of show you what the documents look like. Again, this is just a folder on my desktop. This is our input folder, and this is our output folder here. I have some Word documents, Excel documents, JPEGs, TIFF files, kind of a real mix of all sorts of things, as well as a couple of email files. 17 files in here, totaling about 19 megabytes right now. All right, so I will start this job up. Now, the software, it is designed to leverage multi-threading. So I'm operating just on a quad-core laptop. So you can see that I have 4 cores enabled. Basically, we'll saturate all of those cores and process the documents as we've determined how we want them processed. If you install the software on an 8-core machine, you can process on 8 cores. You can also throttle this up and down. You don't have to saturate all the cores on the machine that the software is installed on. Okay. You can see here, as we're processing, the files are being written to the new folder of the output, and I chose to leave the existing files in the input location, so everything is going to stay there right now. Looks like we're starting to get a couple questions. It's good to see, and I'll address those questions as we get to the end of the demonstration here. All right, so it looks like this is completed. So I'm going to hop out of here. I'll just take a quick second to show you some of the files that we generated. Again, the 17 files that we started out with, they were about 19 megabytes. We now have in this folder here 17 files that total just over 2 megabytes. So pretty significant compression. Let's take a look at some of the files, just kind of show you what we started with and what we ended up with. So let's see here. So this is just a TIFF image of a magazine article, rather a JPEG, sorry about that. This is the PDF that we generated. tied to that article. All right, just kind of go side by side here so you can see. This one zoomed in a little bit more, but you can see here what we started with is an image here. None of this is text searchable. But over here we have a fully text searchable PDF. I can search for anything in here. Let's see, CEO, and wherever we find that, it will pop up in the image, which is great to see. This is no longer an image and is now a fully text searchable document. And so it's pretty significant compression on this file. This particular file, we started out at about 6 megabytes and we're down to about 63 kilobytes, really with no image degradation at all. Let's also just take a look at some of our email files. So we started out over here with just a standard email. It's an Outlook item, and that is converted over to a PDF, just with some general details on the email itself. Totally used for archiving or whatever else you might need here. All right. So that concludes the demonstration. I'm just going to hop back over now to our to the webinar deck, and we'll go through the couple of these final slides, and then I'll take some questions. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a resource hub available, and I'll pull that up for us in a minute. Really details a lot of information on PDF Compressor 8.0. We have some video demonstrations there, quite a few data sheets, also just a kind of highlighted video overview, just a quick 3-minute thing of what is included in PDF Compressor 8.0, and can help to answer just some general questions there. Upgrading to 8.0, it's something that we can definitely help you with. I would recommend definitely downloading a trial today if you have not at this point, and work with our support team to help complete the upgrade. Just highlighted their contact information here for any assistance that you need for the upgrade. Another thing to note, there's no additional cost to upgrade for customers that have an active maintenance agreement in place. So if you have licensed the software, you have a maintenance agreement in place with CVISION, which is now Foxit, the upgrade is free of charge. So we definitely encourage folks to move to 8.0 and really start to leverage some of these new features and new functionality. Okay. And I just wanted to highlight my contact information on here. And my name is Tim Jefferies. Just want to put my phone number and my email. Any questions that you have on today's webinar that I'm not able to address today as we wrap up, please feel free to email me, give me a call. I'm happy to help out. And also just let me know what you'd like to hear about on the next webinar, right? It can be just something very specific to the software, something more general, whatever it might be. We'd really like to hear from you and understand how we can help educate you on how the software works. All right, so let me just hop over here to some of our questions. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so one of the questions that we had here was just tied to PDF A2U, and is that available now? PDF A2U is definitely available, as are all of the variants of PDF A. So we encourage you to take a look at the software, test it out, and any variant of PDF A that you need is now fully available. Another question that we had here was just tied to cost for the upgrade. Again, for anyone that has active maintenance, there is no cost to upgrading the software. It's free of charge. If you do not have an active maintenance agreement, we would be happy to provide you with just details on how to get a updated maintenance agreement in place so that you can upgrade to version 8.0. All right. Let's see here. Some other questions. Okay, one of the other questions here is, can the results of zonal OCR be used to name the output file? At this point, it is not something that can be used to name the output file, unfortunately. It is a request that we've seen quite a bit since we have released 8.0, and something that I have reached out to our development team to include in future releases of the software. So when that is available, I will definitely let it be known, and we will update our resource hub as well as current users of the software. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Second. All right, another question here that see that we work with Kofax, and can we work with Digitech systems? So right now we don't have a native integration with Digitech systems, but we do have the ability to call software through API calls as well as command prompts. That can certainly help to automate that and be able to call it from those systems. So that might be able to assist there. If there is something more specific to that, and you'd like to kind of get a better understanding of what we can do, I'd be happy to schedule some time with myself and our solutions engineers to see how we can assist. All right, another question here: can emails containing emails be converted to? Yes. So basically, any email that has an email as an attachment to that email can be converted as well. Basically, we would, by default, just use the general settings to basically take that email and treat that attachment as something that we would append to the PDF that we create. So the email itself would be the first few pages, and then that attachment would be the additional pages to the resulting PDF. Let's see here. What questions do we have? All right, just a question on barcodes. Can we direct the output to a path and provide a path name? So leveraging the barcode, I don't believe that we can determine an output path, but you would set up the output path basically prior to that. But I'm hoping that I'm answering that question to the group that asked that. But if not, please let me know, and I can try to help out as best I can. There's just a question here on just the PDF Compressor 8.0 purchase price if you don't have PDF Compressor 6.6. We have a variety of different licensing models for 8.0. The most frequently licensed model, I would say, is an annual capacity license, where a user gets access to a set number of pages to process per year. The pages automatically renew at the start of each year, and the year is defined as the anniversary date of the installation of the software. It's a one-time license fee. The only recurring fee that's associated with that is an annual maintenance fee, which provides you with the upgrades that we're talking about today, as well as updates and technical support for the software. So if there's a specific quote that you're looking for, I'd be happy to reach out and just kind of provide you with what that quote would be tied to your processing volume and your project specifically. In addition to the annual capacity licenses, we also have one-time volume packs that are used typically for a one-time project or a legacy conversion, and we also have unrestricted page models where we license the software on a per core basis on the machine that it's going to be installed on. Okay. We had a question just about deskewing documents. So can the skew be limited to, for example, 4 to 5 degrees? So the scanner skew can be fixed, but intentional skew in documents such as large graphics do not affect page correction. So the deskew functionality, as I understand it, is really designed for the overall page itself and would not affect graphics within the actual document. But if there are some sample documents that you would like us to process and test with, please let me know. I'd be happy to take samples, process them, and kind of get a better understanding of specifically what you're looking for, so that we can provide a configuration of the software and settings that would best meet your needs. All right. Well, I think that is pretty much it. I don't see any additional questions here. But again, if there's anything else that I did not cover, any questions that you have, please email me. Again, my email is right up here at tjefferies@cvisiontech.com, or feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to help out. And let us know as well, just anything else that we can help you with. Any new webinars that you'd like to see, anything that you'd like us to cover, please let us know. We're more than happy to help. And again, I really just want to thank everyone for their time today. Appreciate it. And have a great day. And look forward to working with you. Take care.